What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tzarina Katarin Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we've been having a pretty interesting time in the Darklands. Tzarina Katarin defeated Grimgor at the Great Skull Lakes before moving northward to take Uskalak and Fort Dwarslav, which we used to fund our treasury. It was certainly needed as we lost a couple of territories, non-invested territories mind you, but still lost them down here in the Blasted Wastes, which will necessitate Tzarina Katarin moving back to reclaim them. This was, if not inevitable, at least a distinct possibility, so it's not a big deal, and we're still going to have to shore up the defenses. Fortunately, or hopefully, Howling Rock can still act as the sort of tip of the spear here, as it were. Anyway, that's going to be the goal for this time, plus probably trying to get another army on the field. I think we'll start getting the upgrade here for the armored Kossars. We should be able to get an armored Kossar army up fairly quickly. We already have 4 units of armored Kossars that Tzarina Katarin won't need soon, plus another unit of watchmen in the night, which will be a significant portion of that particular force. And Ice Guard are coming very, very soon as well, so we're nearly there in that regard, at least. Now, let's see what we've got to do, or still got to do this turn. Vladimir and Mikhail will still need to, I guess, attack the rebels here before moving northward towards Plesk. But let's do building and stuff before we do. Victor and Zamvin. Now, they're not super expensive, so I think we'll just build a few Kislevite warriors here, just the basic Kislevite warriors, just in case. I don't know if you'll be able to recruit for 2 turns, but give it a shot, sir. Then I guess Vladimir Mikheyev is the only one who can move, so I guess then we can just do building. Let us see what we have here. Zavostra, do we level you? You know what? 3.5k, 3.56k. How much money will we need to build this stuff? We definitely want the Temple of Ursun upgraded, so that's 5k. Another 4k for the Boca Palace, which we also most definitely want immediately. Gotta get to those Ice Guard within the next 9 turns, maybe even reduce that a little bit by... Did we already send the Ataman this way? Yeah, maybe I should have sent him to the River Ursko instead. I suppose what we could do is we could move him next turn, and that would still allow us to reduce the times without necessarily spending the money, while we, for example, build a few of these things instead. I think that'll work. That'll work nicely. Alright, that's what we'll do then. So, that would still allow us, I think, then to afford the upgrade of this particular town. Like so. We're not going to bother with the Winged Lancer building as yet. Mostly because at 315, they're just crazy expensive. And we got other stuff to build. Here, let's upgrade the Orthodoxy Chapel so that we can get another one of the Patriarchs on field. And I think that is all that we have to do this turn. Assuming we don't have to build anything at Zorna's school, which we don't. Alright, that looks good then. Vladimir Mikheyev. I don't think that we need to do anything with you. Ooh, you know what we could do though? Ice Court, let's get another Frost Maiden hero trained. Man, I'm gonna start training them. I'm almost tempted to start training an Ice Witch Lord as well. I'll start running a little bit low on money, though. Let's keep it to 1 for now. We'll see how much money we have, and then we can always start next turn. Let's get this little rebellious force, shall we? And Pyrrhic Victory. Oh, wow, they have a lot better and more elite units than we do here. But we have a full stack, well, nearly a full stack, 1 unit short. And they don't, so hopefully we'll be okay. Let's get the Gleaming Pennant on... probably one of the frontline units, and then the Standard of Discipline on... one of these guys. Did I level these guys up? I don't remember. Well, I hope I did. It'll be unfortunate if I didn't. Otherwise, I think we're good to go, or as good to go as we're liable to be. Actually, you know what? Let's get the Gleaming Pennant on you, so that you can sort of get to the disciplined area where you are located, but you'll be on the front line.
Kislev has endured. Why would we ever quiver before these milksops?
Alrighty, here we go. Very different army, but we're fighting to put down a Kislevite rebellion, and a rebellion better equipped than our own armies, which is always kind of silly to see, especially in the early game. But what can you do? Ooh, I do like their color scheme, though. Yeah, the green is actually really working for me. Very nice. Well, we got some units of winged lancers on the field. I think 3 of them or something along those lines, but looks like the first one will give chase to us, and we'll see what our Kossovite archers can do about it. Of course, the winged lancers will be too slow to catch them, and the Kossovite archers are anti-large, so we should be able to do some damage. On the other hand, I imagine that they don't have a lot of armor-piercing damage on them, and the winged lancers are both shielded and have 80 armor. Can't underestimate these units, as the winged hussars have proved time and time and time again. Alright, and it looks like we've allowed the horse archers to lead the winged lancers forward towards our main line, where we've just simply blobbed up a bunch of our Kossars. We keep the patriarchs out front to take the charge from the enemy army, or the enemy cavalry, or rather, which it does do a little bit of damage to the relatively fragile patriarch, but it does prevent the charge from hitting the Kossars with spears. And yeah, the Kossars with spears do have charge reflection and charge defense versus large, but I think it's still safer to have the patriarch take the charge instead. Anyway, it looks like this unit of winged lancers is just about done. Between the arrows and the spears of the Kossars, they don't have much left in them, and as soon as by our blood ends, they will book it on out of there. There we go. That unit won't be coming back. Out here, the enemy archers are attempting to, for the enemy Kossovite archers are attempting to fight our own Kossovite archers, but another unit of the winged lancers continues to give chase, and so we're going to either lead them away or towards our lines. If nothing else, we can be quite irritating with our horse archers. Not like these guys can catch them. Alright, down to half HP now, and they don't really know where to run. It seems like this unit's sort of milling around, attempting to go after one unit and then the other unit, but realizing that they're too fast. And oh, By Our Blood is already activated? Yeah, the unit is basically done. They just gotta wait for the 30 seconds. And once again, it looks like they will charge the Patriarch out front, who for some reason was facing the wrong way, but it shouldn't make too much of a difference. They'll get stuck on the Kossars with spears here, who will hold them, and then they will take shots both to the back from the archers, or horse archers, and to the front from the Kossars as well. So it looks like the horse archers have now switched fire. And we can try to run our lord in to get a little bit of axe work in, but it looks like they'll book it on out of there before he gets there. That's alright, though, as more enemy units are arriving. 3 units of armored Kossars, fortunately for us, with great weapons. We've seen before that they're pretty darn fragile against range fire, and we should be able to rip them apart with pretty great ease. Especially with the disparity in numbers. Oh wow, this guy's just got an arrow in the neck. Just walk it off, man. Oh, the arrow disappeared. Oh, this guy, unless it was this guy that had the arrow in the neck. Well, this guy's got an arrow in the lung now, and I don't think he's gonna get up from that one this time around, aspirating blood and all that. Anyway, looks like the second unit is just about done as well. There we go, looks like they're turning. And the third unit is in the process of being pincushioned, similarly to the first. The enemy lord moved in, but with piles of Kossars, 2 patriarchs, and our lord attacking him, it looks like he's gonna book it on out of there real quick. No problem at all. Alright, and they will hopefully chase down the enemy lord. What's left on the field? We got a unit of Streltsy, we got a unit of Kossars, a second unit of Streltsy, and that is it. So what was happening was basically this. Our Kossovite archers were sort of just slightly trying to annoy the enemy army, flanks and back line, and the Streltsy just really wanted them dead for what they were doing. And it looks like they spent the entire battle chasing the Kossovite archers around, rather rather than applying themselves. Now, that does mean that the Kosovoid archers were not contributing perhaps as much directly to the battle, but a Streltsy unit is worth, I think, twice as much or something like that. Well, maybe not quite twice as much, but it's worth a lot more than a Kosovoid archer unit. And thus, they were doing absolutely nothing while giving chase like that. And now, relatively... enemy lord dies. And now, unsupported by themselves, they're going to have to take arrows to the front from the Kossars, who have moved up and are firing over the hill, even though we can't see them from this angle. And then the Kosovoid archers will move in to add insult to injury, or injury to insult in this particular case, and fire once again on the Streltsy from the back. These were merely rebels after all, and they, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. Their commander died, and probably they didn't have a great commander, which would explain why their army did not maintain cohesion. That's my headcanon for this little battle anyway. And there we go. Ooh, nice hack and slash from those axes right there. Just oh, damn. Very nice. I gotta watch the animations of the infantry lords while they don't have mounts, as otherwise we don't get to see them a lot of the time. Alright, well, that Streltsy unit is pretty much done for, and with it, the last of the Streltsy unit, and the last Kossars will go into Buy Our Blood, and we'll book it on out of there, giving the battle to us. Now, there wasn't any real reason to fight this battle, other than the fact that it's free money, free XP, etc., etc., and I suppose if they took took our allied settlement, it would have been worse for us, because if we eventually confederate them, damaged settlement will mean a lower settlement to take for ourselves. All right, there we... Huh? Wait, minus... Is this -2 supporters? Did we actually get -2 supporters? What is this? I never actually paid attention to this. Well, weird. Weird, but whatever. I don't care. Either way, I don't know what the auto-resolve was smoking with regards to the Pyrrhic victory, but, well... hardly surprising. The auto-resolve does have a tendency to be a maniac. On the bright side, though, we got plenty of damage on all of our Kosovoid archer units. 6,000, 13,000, 12,000, and 9,000, all of which pretty heavily outdamaging most of the regular Kossars, just due to the, well, the sheer amount of time these guys were on field, dishing out damage. We'll take the money because we barely got hurt in that fight, so pardon those captives. We'll certainly need the money to fund those palaces of ours. We will then... Nomad Riding Master, recruit rank +1 for cab units, and another veteran warrior. Swell, swell, swell. A feather vote torque, which we probably don't need. Sadly, unlike most of the armies that I do, or most of the campaigns that I do, or rather, the man, this guy didn't level up yet. It's a little bit unfortunate. This faction is not really going to be able to get a all-flying army up and running. It's just not possible for Kislev, but oh well, what can you do? Let's auto-resolve this real quick. Hopefully that'll level this guy and get him the healing thing. Also, hopefully this doesn't do too much damage to us, but the auto-resolve does get screwy of a time. Now we're good. You know what? I should have checked the supporters to see whether it was another, whether it was another -2. Let's heal to full. Why not? It's not enough money to concern ourselves with, and a shield. 133. I swear we already had 133, but it might have been 137 or something like that. Anyway, time to declare war on these guys. We'll ask our friends, the Great Orthodoxy, to join the war against Wintertooth. And yes, despite the fact that we are beset on many a side, we are declaring more wars. That's just what you gotta do sometimes. Alrighty, go. Kislev should feel like they're surrounded from every and getting attacked from every direction. Saliak's Lullaby for you, and on to Plesk. And Pyrrhic victory again with medium casualties, and now, wow, this unit will get deleted, meaning I guess we'll have to fight this. It's mostly marauders of various kinds, but at least for the first few uses of this army, it'll have to be auto-resolved, at least until we get a few better units in there. You're good, let's just double check, but I think that there is nothing else that we can or need or want to do this turn. There is the possibility of upgrading these, but at 1800 gold, it's gonna take these such a long time to pay for themselves. I mean, it's less than 100 gold per, so I think the investment may not be worth it at the time, so I think once again we will just hold off on it. Alright, I guess you're getting a second battle, and oh, a little bit in the way of reinforcements as well. Works for me. Go again.
Consequences than the blades of these.
Alrighty, here we go again. Looks like we are able to open up quite a bit of distance between us and the enemy army, and on top of that we got our allies arriving. So we're gonna put our army where our allies are moving in and make use a little bit of this impassable terrain to help our army out. Of course, once again, our Kosovoid archers are going to annoy the enemy, and they have to, well, they've no choice in the matter. They have to start with the Norscan warhounds lest they chase them down. And the doggos will give chase, and we'll see how many of them we can knock out before we, before they shatter, or before they reach us, whichever happens first. Huh, they move almost exactly at the speed of the camera. Oh, damn. Interesting. I'm also noticing that a lot of the arrows from the Kosovoid archers are sort of hitting the same place, which is kind of interesting. But also not necessarily good for units with a lot of units. Yeah, see how the entire blob essentially shoots one doggo, and then that doggo is the only one that goes down. The arrows aren't spreading themselves out enough. Which ain't great, because it means that there's a lot, and I mean a lot of overkill damage on these guys. Gotta spread out those shots a little bit more along the entire unit rather than like one or two units. One or two models, I should say. On the bright side, the doggos are having a very difficult time actually catching those Kosovoid archers, though they are playing a dangerous game. And it's taking quite a bit of ammo, losing about 30% of it just to knock out this single unit of Norscan warhounds. Though we also gotta remember that the Kosovoid archers can function like warhounds themselves. 30 and 30 melee attack and defense isn't all that high, but they can certainly be used to chase enemies down and harass enemy range units as well, so... There's also that in addition to the range annoyance that they could provide. I'd be curious to see how effective they'll be against like single entity monsters, because they look to be pretty darn accurate, but fire at like one model, like all that for one guy, you know what I mean? So if it was a single entity monster, all that anti-large, plus all of them hitting one unit, it might work a little bit better. Maybe try them against like trolls as well, if we can get some in a battle with them relatively soon, but we'll see. Anyway, the enemy is making their way up the hill, but our reinforcements have arrived, and we'll use our allies to block our army off. Our Kossars will do the damage, while the enemy deals damage to our friends. And out here, we got a little bit of Streltsy action versus some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. A little armor piercing versus armor piercing. But it looks like the Marauder horses with throwing axes have kind of the same problem, where they're not hitting too many units at the same time, where the Streltsy are not suffering from that at all, and many an enemy unit will drop with every volley. There we go. I would imagine that the Streltsy should very much win this exchange, having lost about 10% of their HP so far, whereas the enemy is down by half. Enemy main line has closed the gap and are now fighting our allied Kislevite warriors. But they're just holding the line while all of our units do the work with their arrow fire. Their cheap and effective arrow fire. It does look like one enemy unit of Marauders did manage to get around our flanks. We do have a Patriarch on this flank, however, who can hold them off and applies towards Battle Hymn to reduce the enemy melee attack by 25, dropping it to a mere 8, while the Kossars bump up to 46. All the while, those Kossovite archers continue taking shots and hitting the enemy in the back as well. Very nice, and it looks like this unit of Marauders is shaken and pretty much done for. And I imagine the enemy army will be in similar shape very shortly, as the balance of power has shifted to about 80, maybe 85% in our favor. It is nice working with allies on occasion. I prefer to work with allies of different factions, just to do sort of combined units or combined armies. But this is nice as well. I'll take what I can get, certainly, since it's still a fairly rare occurrence to A, fight with allies, and B, to fight with allies that are actually useful. Alright, and with that, the battle is pretty much ours. Bounce power's at about 90% in our favor. Our Lord is taking on the Marauder Chieftain with a little bit of help from the Streltsy with Bardishas, though the help is more like they're hopefully distracting him. A few more hits and that Marauder Chieftain will rout, and I would wager that as soon as he does, the enemy army will break as well. I can't get closer to the ground, unfortunately, with the camera, as the hill prevents it, but it hardly matters, as with that, the enemy army does indeed shatter, and the battle is ours. Lovely, lovely little fight, and our allies help preserve pretty much all of our units. Alright, there we go, easy enough, especially with our allied units taking the brunt of the damage from the melee fight. Certainly worked out and allowed us to do damage with our Kossovite archers and our regular Kossars. Free Sword of Might, though we don't particularly care about that one. A little bit of extra treasury and devotion, nice, and we'll occupy the place for ourselves. There we go. And will we be able to take Novkazi? Hey, another war banner, nice. And what do we have here? Defeat any army of chaos in battle gives us more money. Well, that's great. Considering we're about to fund a bunch of stuff, that's great indeed. We have another Kossar hut here, funnily enough. Probably not super useful to you, and frankly, we're probably going to need defenses and growth here. Fortunately, our growth is pretty good without growth buildings due to the combination of Saliak and Mother's Hand. That's basically 80 growth in every territory. Otherwise, this place would be 10 growth, which is basically nothing, but this is pretty okay. Nonetheless, I think we'll build basic markets here and then walls or something along those lines. At least as far as I can tell. Hopefully Draca doesn't attack us, because this is not a good time for it. I really shouldn't open my mouth and say that, because that's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? But anyway, just to take a quick look at what we have. Alright, that Kreml officer, which we'll definitely want up and running ASAP. We do want a Hag Mother as well. I wonder if the Hag Mothers can get that trait. There was a trait that we saw that buffed up things in the woods and stuff. It would be nice to have that on the Hag Mother to specifically lead the Things in the Woods army. And oh, Tzarina Katarin, I didn't realize you also have buffs on the Golden Knight here. And I guess we're trying to get to Tzarina's Guardian for that lovely physical resistance plus 20. I'm gonna say start with personal bodyguard with melee defense and then continue on to whatever afterwards. Do you two need the levels? Probably not as much. Let's get you Daja's Song of Winter Sunlight, and well, we might as well max out the various battle hymns and stuff. Yeah, alright, do that, and then of course the Frost Maiden, who has scouting maxed out now. We can get the spell resistance for our army. It's only 5% though, but it also does give us reserve capacity, and that's more casting capabilities for Tzarina Katarin. We'll max out the Guardian Call as well. But I think we'll do those first, Dynamism. Alright, lovely. And that should be it for this particular turn. So unassigned skill points ignored, building upgrade available, we're good there. Now let's end the turn. And then I guess next turn we'll start recruiting some armored Cossars. We could get a Lord on the... Well, I guess not. We'll wait until next turn to get the Lord on the field to actually recruit them. Frankly, it would be better to recruit stuff in Kislev itself because we have the recruitment cost reduction there, but there's not a lot of stuff we can actually recruit from there at the current time. I'd also like to keep an eye on the Patriarchs. I suppose if we get another one of these shrewd advisors, we'll get another one of them on field. Anyway, end turn. Also, while the turn is ending, once again, we did indeed reach the engagement threshold, so obviously this will be an hour-long episode as well, and if this streak continues this time around, we will do 2 episodes Wednesday, well, I guess today, so within... 2 episodes within the 24-hour period rather than 1 episode, let's say. I can't guarantee exactly when the second episode will come out if we reach the streak, because of... Oh, Azazel gonna declare war on us as well, because of upload times, but anyway. Alright, Azazel and Sorrow. Yeah, now we're getting there. We're getting to being completely surrounded by enemies. Beautiful. Oh, and the streak is still 400 likes and 60 comments for this episode. United against us, the Sorrow. Good for them. And, hey, unlock Gotrek and Felix, but we have to do that Nightmare of Geheimnisnacht Eve, which we can't do right now as it's, well, the quests have a lot of stuff that is probably going to be too tough for our army at the current time, until we get those Ice Guard on field. Now, ready for duty, Sergei Akulov, the Nemesis Crown, another Vision. Abandoned ruins in an unoccupied region. Swell. Another Kislevite Kossar, though you do not need that. That is for lords, specifically. We'll ignore you, Warhorse. Then we'll send Tzarina Katarin down here. March stance to retake these guys. These guys might... Oh, there's an army right there. Just get us close to the army as possible. Ooh. I may have made a mistake. Then again, it's just a pile of gobos. The problem is we're in March stance and the vigor is bad. On the other hand, if this all distracts these guys to attack Tzarina Katarin's army rather than these guys' army, that would be decent for us. I doubt that there's anything too strong in here after all. Hopefully it's not just like a million trolls, considering they have the troll building here, which has me a little bit concerned, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Now, you're able to take Nevkazi. I assume we can ignore Gothir and Kivald Bainhasser, at least for now. What we can't ignore is the fact that Azazel is around here and is at war with us and with our friends here. He has a full stack around. Yeah, we need to continue recruitment. Hey, another shrewd advisor, go figure. Alright, so, let's see. First of all, we're upgrading the Temple of Ursun. No, wait. No, not quite right. First of all, we're getting the defenses up at Fort Dorjny Vort and upgrading the Great Skull Lakes, Stanitsa. We can ignore the Orthodoxy Shrine here for now. In fact, delete the shrine and replace it with a money building, just a cheap variant of it, to get a little bit of cash without too much investment. Then we're going to go to Atamans and... Oh, this guy has a thing. Alright, so 2 control and leadership aura versus recruit rank for infantry, local province, and Ataman. That's not bad. Neither is the control, mind you, but we shouldn't, in theory, have control problems, rather. I'm going to go with traditionalist, in case we use you to help recruit stuff. So ever be the traditionalist. Go. Alright, then what we'll want to do is also Ottomans. We will take you, the construction cost reducer, and we'll put you into Kislev, like so. Then, next turn, we should be able to quickly get the special buildings up and running much quicker. We will, however, build the Masons Guild immediately. Well, actually, we don't need to build it immediately. We'll build the Tribal Cantonment immediately. But these 2 are taking 3 turns, so they should take 2 turns next turn, so we can forego them. Now, as for these things, the Grand Citadel doesn't actually do much for it. We definitely need the Boca Palace, because we want those Ice Guard. The Imperial Embassy similarly doesn't do too much for us, and I think we probably get more value out of building Assuming we build the Eerie Woods down south here, we could build the Cavern of Silk here. Why this over this? Simply because this is a lot of stuff, and I think, unless I'm mistaken, we can build the War Bear Riders, Little Grom, Heavy War Slids, and Elemental Bear, but it does not allow us to build the Frostworms, Snow Leopards, or Acolytes of Ursun. So yeah, we'll build the Cavern of Silk, and then we'll build the Boca Palace here. Next turn. This one we can do right now. Alrighty, that's decided for that particular settlement. Then we'll need to start recruiting new units, meaning... Oh, there's the Master of Beasts. Funnily enough. Let me think. I mean, I'm tempted to say just use the Kreml officer guy because he's very cheap and that he's free. Now, let's do the Kreml officer for now. We may replace him. I mean, we're gonna put a bunch of Zarga. Yeah, go for this guy. Alright, you're in here. And then you're gonna join this army. And then... we can build a Zargard here, though they are expensive. We're better off building Zargard and Kislev, but we can build armored Kossars here. What we'll do is wait one turn, I think. Get the second Shrewd Advisor. And, alright, we gotta pay attention to the Frost Maidens as well. You get Temp... Nah, get Ice again. I wasn't super happy about the other Ice one, mostly because the Steel Tech bonus means we should probably use it to actually, you know, Steel Tech. Then... gotta pay attention to Uzkalak as well, alright. Kind of in an interesting position in being surrounded so much by enemies, but I like it. Alright, you, keep moving down here. Huh. Are you not able to go through this little pass? You gotta be kidding me. Or are you? Or is it just faster to go through this? Alright, well, I guess we're going like this. We need to see... okay, I see Heralds of Ariel and Vol's Anvil. Where are we trying to get to over here somewhere? Try to find Mother Ostankia. Man, we can't actually land here. We'd have to go around. Oh, wow, what the heck is this? Lizards, what are you doing? I don't like us a crazy amount. They're trying to find... they're fighting Keepers of Bliss and Clan Grittus, and that's it. They're not fighting Jade Court or Skeggy. And considering they only have 4 settlements... maybe Skeggy is destroyed, but they're not doing crazy well either. Interesting, though. We should keep an eye on factions that are new to us, though there isn't really anything. Okay, fine. All good. Alright, the rest of that looks good, minus Vladimir Mikheyev, who needs to level up, and any potential buildings and other locations. Alright, so let's take a look at the other locations then. Howling Rock, oh, 3.8k, that's a crazy investment. I think either way we'll do the Market Square here for a teensy bit of cash, and you just stay there. Alright, Eastern Oblast, plus you're gonna do the same thing, just go for the Market Square, a little bit of cash that'll pay for itself relatively quickly. Vitevo's building up the defenses. Zavastra will need defenses as well, because these guys are probably coming, but we won't be able to do that for another couple of turns as yet. Okay, then... we'll need to get you 2 Step Shepherds, that's what we'll need to do. Step Shepherd 1, and... oh, you know what I should have done? Step Shepherd and Veteran Warrior. And you can do the same. Huh? Are you guys not able to... oh, it's only for Lords. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, fine. Then you can have the Step Shepherd as well, as the other army is no longer recruiting. Lovely. That should reduce the upkeep or construction cost, recruitment costs for the armored Kossars, which we'll start recruiting. Still a little bit more expensive than I'd like, but there's not much we can do about that. Alrighty, and I believe that is it, at least in terms of what we want to build this turn, unless there's something at Kazidirkulas. We could go for the farm to generate a little bit of money. And this place is fairly unlikely to get attacked. That's probably the way to go. Alright, let's do the farmstead. I'll probably have to remove the Orthodoxy Chapel here as well, as this is going to be one of our biggest, if not our biggest money-making province for at least a while the gold is there. At least until we could take Sylvania. And, ooh, Vlad has beaten back Ungrim as well. Alright, well, they can keep fighting amongst themselves. And we'll see. If the vampires win, then we'll head into those parts of the mountains as well. Anyway, Garrison Lord now moved. Yeah, right, I remember you. You can't go for Gothir, go for Navkazi. Just keep an eye on... we're gonna have to fight this as well. Oh, auto-resolve. Once again, these little Kossar armies are supposed to be defensive armies, so it's a little bit annoying that we have to fight them in this manner, but and we do have to. But we do also have to watch out for is these guys attacking us, because their regiments of renown are going to be very, very strong against this army, which wouldn't really be able to defend itself easily against them. Anyway, let's get firing drills. Got to try to power up those Kossars as best we can. And this includes the regular Kossars. Yes, yes, indeed it does. Alright, you too. Get Daja's Song of Winter Sunlight, and then you can get... Wait, did I get the second level of this? No, but I guess we should get every single variant of Battle Hymn, and then we'll be better. Alright, fight this real quick. I wonder if this is a field battle or not. Oh, damn, they have the spear barrage. Gotta watch out for that. Go.
Supply of grain to whoever fells the general.
Alright, well, there's that spear barrage that I was concerned about. I was hoping that it would have a cooldown at the start of the battle and wouldn't be usable immediately, but at the same time, you gotta control your skirmisher cav. You have to babysit them, since you can't just leave them on skirmish or else they'll just die or run into the enemy like a bunch of idiots, because skirmish doesn't really work very well, and so we got hit by the barrage, but oh well. Hopefully the skirmisher cav can knock out these marauder horses with throwing axes. There's also a unit of berserkers out here that we could potentially riddle with arrows before they can close the distance with the rest of our army. The enemy army does have quite a ways to travel towards us, and ooh, that's a pretty nice shot. Fighting under this on this big old bridge thing is pretty darn cinematic, isn't it? Yeah, game is certainly beautiful. Anyway, let's see how we're doing out here. About 30% of the HP lost on that unit of marauder horses. The enemy isn't really doing this on purpose, but they are dodging a lot of shots by virtue of using the trees for cover. Sort of accidentally, but gotta give credit where it's due, even if it is a happy accident for them. There we go. They move out of the trees now, send a few of those axes flying towards us, but probably not doing too much damage with it. Them running around like this is making us waste a lot of ammunition on them, though, as these guys do miss quite a few shots. And we've lost about 20 to 25 to 30% ammunition on all of them, and these guys are only down to half their HP. The other unit of marauder horses has moved in, however, and got absolutely ripped apart by our arrow fire. And perhaps they shouldn't have rushed ahead of the entire enemy army and waited a few seconds. This time, though, I had to look over here to see the charge of the enemy, and that did allow us to actually dodge that darn spear barrage. So that worked out. It worked out nicely. Here come more marauders. These ones shielded, and thus will probably not take as much damage to the range, but will they be able to close the distance? Well, by the looks of it, they will. They've only lost about 30% of their HP. Patriarch once again out front to take their charge. And the arrow fire will keep coming. And if these guys want to move down this ramp, this is actually going to work out poorly for them, as it will mean that they sort of blob up. On top of that, the enemy has a lot of range units, but the marauder hunters, whether it be with javelins or with throwing axes, are relatively short range. And it thus allows our entire line of ranged units to fire upon them. And that's going to be their job. All of our ranged units pretty much now targeting enemy range. Our horse archers still annoying the enemy, and this time have switched to those marauder berserkers who will not be able to join the fray. Alright, very nice. Obviously going to be a relatively minor battle, but still always fun to see, especially as the battles with our basic armies are always going to be very dangerous, because we could easily lose. Alright, not much to say about this tactically. Once again, the enemy range units are pretty much done for now. We just have to take care of this blob out here. The enemy Marauder Chieftains also being attacked by our Boyar. And the Patriarch's going to move in to help out against them as well. Not that it was really needed. With the enemy infantry, both range and missile alike, running away, it looks like the enemy army will pretty much be done for within the next few seconds. Though perhaps I spoke too soon, but they should be just about done. I guess they're waiting for their lord to actually shatter, but shatter he will, I'm sure, in... now? Shaken. Shaken, not shattered. Now down to half HP. I'm actually surprised that he's still fighting, considering the enemy has basically lost all their troops minus that Marauder Berserker unit, and there we go. With that, the enemy lord will rout, and this little battle will be ours, but we'll find a bigger battle, I'm sure. Alright, there we go. Solid work with this army. Once again, a little bit of damage, but mostly I'd wager from those barrages, those spear barrages. I do wish that the Kosovoite archers were managing to do a little bit more damage to those marauder horses, but... And I mean, they do have anti-large arrows, which is kind of why I wish they were doing more damage to marauder horses. But once they get those anti-infantry arrows, they'll at least be able to annoy enemy infantry a little bit more, which I think will be pretty valuable. Anyway, another nomad riding master, a war horse, and a level as well. As for where we put the level, once again into firing drills, gotta keep buffing those Kossars, since they make up the majority of this army. Lovely. Anything else we gotta do this turn? I don't believe so, unless I'm mistaken, and I just don't think I am. The Ataman is being transferred, just had to make sure to double check. Let's double check Diplo as well. Nordland, and that's about it. Alright, so nothing there. 142 now. Okay, now we're definitely like halfway there, aren't we? Oh wow, we need 600. Okay, maybe not halfway there, but we're certainly getting there. This progress bar looks like it's halfway there, and oh wow, what the heck? Salyak's up to 250 now. Huh. Wait, does this increase with territory, or does it increase with turns, or does it increase with the amount of supporters you have? I don't know which it is, but it just went up by a pretty considerable margin. Anyway, I'm hopeful that because we're in March stance and thus the vigorous SFO vigor is very dangerous to be low, these guys will all attack Tzarina Katarin with a stack and 3/4, which should be fun if they are willing. So, let's find out. Just to double check your recruiting, yes, end the turn. Let's see what they've got. These guys are going to hang around up here rather than attacking Volksgrad with Kastelten behind those walls. Makes sense. They're not going to declare war on us, which works for us as well, since we are working on the Thragi's territories. I hope that the looks like Grimgor was too afraid to attack us, even in March stance. Interesting. Interesting considering the fact that the auto-resolve is supposed to think that our Kossars are super weak and will lose every single fight. At least that's what it's been implying with every single fight. Grimgor is back though, and good for him. Attack this army, which will presumably run. Will it run far enough to get to Grimgor? No, meaning we can attack the Blasted Expanse without worrying about it. Now, is this auto-resolvable? It says low casualties. I'm gonna risk it, and I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't do too much damage to us. It's probably gonna be like, A third of the... yeah, still a lot of damage. With the army we have, I think we can probably still take Grimgor, even damaged as we are, and I think the money is more valuable, so we'll take the money. Crazy though that may seem. Yeah, Grimgor's army is pretty weak at the current time, and there's nothing crazy in the Blasted Expanse. Plus, what we could do is move you into reinforce. So, we'll go here, like so. Pyrrhic victory, yeah, it's fine. Now the war banner, etc, etc, etc. Then we'll move you in, like this. And I'm gonna hope that that's close enough. I'm also gonna hope that you can reach the Desolation of Drakenmore without having Katarin do it. And you're close enough now? Yes, indeed you are. Beautiful. We'll also get a level of, I guess, Vigorous Drill? Let's get to double check that there isn't anything here that we really need early. But no, I think we're still trying to get to Tzarina's Guardian. Yeah, Tzarina's Guardian, so Vigorous Drill into Tzarina's Guardian. Oh, wait. March of Tzarina gives us a rally. Probably not going to be super needed in this battle, though. Missile resistance for all units. No, it's probably more valuable to get to missile resistance for all units because it buffs the entire army. So we'll do that. Sort of jumping around with the points a little bit, but what can you do? Dynamism for you, and Patriarch, you are going into... I mean, I guess after this we'll definitely be heavily damaged enough to probably warrant needing replenished troops at a higher level. Sons of Kislev is not crazy useful for this particular army, though I suppose the Red War Chant would still be useful. Alright, well, we'll get that in a bit. Now, let's make sure that we complete whatever admin we need to complete before moving on. First of all, Zavastra's still not ready. Kislev, you're the important one. So, we need to upgrade the Temple of Ursun to Tier 2, and we need the Boca Palace, which will only take one turn to complete. We'll also want the Market, and the Masons Guild, and... oh, we can build the Snow Leopards now, lovely. And I guess we'll go for the Animal Den as well. We want a couple Frostworms on the field, and we want some Acolytes of Ursun as well. I also see Azazel nearby, and we are at war with him. And it's starting to get dangerous, at least over here. He could try to bypass these guys and head to Plesk. I wonder whether we should head down to Karagvrag, and then towards Dwarslav. Or whether we should loop back around this way to attempt to reinforce Gestalten.
Very well. Do not touch the damned prince.
I don't think that Prague would fall, but I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, wait, we have Ice Court thing. You have growth is great, plus 40 growth versus plus 10% income. Neither one I care about at the current time. I doubt we'd be putting you in a settlement either way. Let's get you growth is great. Ataman thing. What's the Ataman thing? Ataman decision, yes. Reward the one. Armor. Armies in province when Ataman versus a boon for all, growth plus 20. Gonna have to go with growth. I mean, I appreciate all the defensive buffs that these guys provide and the armies that they provide, but nonetheless, we want them to act more as governors than as an emergency lord, so more growth. Especially since this guy is the construction time reducer, making all these be constructed real quick. And thus we need him to, well, do that. Alright, we'll fight this in a sec. I just want to make sure everybody else has moved where they need to be. Piotr, you're moving into this army. Replenish your troops. Keep getting those armored Cossars. We'll build the... we just need to get what? 4 more of these and then a build... or maybe even less. Will we be able to build ice sleds? Wait, I'm just seeing... yes, we will. Ooh. And just taking a look at which troops can be transferred to Tzarina Katarin and how quickly. If we build her 10 Ice Guard and 4 heavy war sleds, we'd have no more room for anything else. I guess we're going to move on to the heroes alongside you and bring a pet kitty as well. Alright, also this army needs a mage. Can we get mages anywhere? Yes, we can. Okay, that's nice. Granted, we were going to use this mage as a Tech Thief, but we can always sort of redo the healing and just use her as a caster on field for now while we don't have a better one. So get on field. You go here. We'll ignore Temple of Heimkill and Carrick Blag for now, and if these things get retaken, that's fine. For now, they'll generate a little bit of cash for us. We'll move Vladimir here. In ambush stance. Right outside the friendly settlement. I'm not sure that this will work, but what I want is that these guys are all close together. And then we can move the Frost Maiden in. You will definitely need Ice Maiden's Kiss and Frost Sheet, and both of these should be maxed out because that's the main thing that you're using. And then we'll try to move towards Heart of Winter, which is not the most useful spell, admittedly, but Ice Sheet and Frost Maiden's Kiss spam alone are really, really nice. Anyway, you can now move to Kislev, assuming that, wait. Yeah, we don't have another Step Shepherd. You can move to Kislev, wherein you will start generating other stuff, or recruiting other stuff. Not this turn, but next turn. And keep awakening the land for the Boca Palace. Gotta get those Ice Guard after all. Mikhaila Fedekova. Okay, go as close to this place as possible. I'd like to see... Aghall, eh?
We should kill them.
At war with exiles of the Heckin clan, Kritis, his mother Astankia dead as well. Oh man, it looks like Kislev isn't doing so well in... Now, it looks like Kislev isn't doing so well in SFO by themselves. They get wiped out fairly quick by the looks of it. These guys would be at war with them if they were alive, I imagine. I guess what we can do is wait. Okay, we don't know either of these factions. Who do we know nearby? We know the Drowned. They were at war with Legion of the Gore Queen, Nagrith, and Mung. Clan Gritus we can't see, unfortunately. And I guess that's all we know. Well, we know the Cult of Pleasure, who are at war with Daughters of the Forest. They're alive. Okay, okay, okay. Where are they then? I think they start at the Bleakhold Fortress, which is why we were moving over here. What's the best way to find them? They could be at the Plain of Spiders, because there's no corruption there. Oh man, okay, we have to land. We have to land, and it's a fair distance away, so let's hope that they survive for the number of turns it takes for us to get over there. They weren't over here, because this is a ruin. This is all corrupted by chaos, so they're not here either. I'm going to assume that they're in the Red Desert. Or at least I'm gonna hope. No easy way to get vision of them. Also, let's, speaking of vision, let's take diplomacy, or check diplomacy. Nordland's still Great Orthodoxy wants a military alliance, but that serves no purpose for us. Grimgor wants peace, but that's not going to happen. Well, at least not right now. If we take back these two territories, then we can peace out with Grimgor, which will allow Tzarina Katarin to move northward to Uzkalak. Hopefully defend it. We'll re-up the war with Grimgor later, but hopefully he'll be a little bit too afraid for now, and it'll give us the time to get walls and stuff up and running in all of these territories. Anyway, no more real money remaining unless I'm mistaken. Or Dorjny Vort. We can build another market square here. We need money everywhere after all. And that's about it. We just have to make sure that we have enough cash to upgrade the Boca Palace next turn, and then everything will be hopefully fine. Alright, time to fight Grimgor a second time. We're damaged now, and thus it's a Pyrrhic victory, but we'll see about that. Go.
The motherland expects victory. Your queen will not tolerate failure.
Alrighty, here we go again. The other three battles, or rather, this is the fourth, were our minor fights with our lesser army, but this one, by the looks of it, should be pretty solid, especially considering that our army is quite damaged here, and once again, we have Grimgor to contend with. On top of that, he has a lot of heroes, which are still quite an annoyance to us. A giant river troll hag to apply those darn spirit leeches constantly, which I'm sure will annoy us to a degree, though hopefully, like now, those spirit leeches will be applied to Tzarina Katarin rather than the other heroes, simply because Tzarina Katarin has a lot of magic resistance. Fireball coming in, I think Grimgor has a Ruby Ring of Ruin, or somebody over there does. And yeah, Tzarina Katarin has 58% spell resistance. Not crazy, but it's certainly enough. We drop an Ice Sheet just to sort of annoy the enemy a little bit and charge on in with Tzarina Katarin. I want to make sure that the enemy gets slowed down, but also blobbed up a teensy bit so we can drop a couple spells. We're not going to wait for the entire enemy to just sort of blob up here, because I don't like to do that sort of thing, but we just need to annoy a couple of units into actually moving towards us. We do have a decent position out here, after all, with our flanks once again protected, and this sort of annoying bit of impassable terrain plus slow down water in the center, all of which will be advantageous in the fight. Alrighty, and it looks like that has annoyed the enemy sufficiently, and that means Tzarina Katarin can run. Got about 20k, 19k damage, very few kills, only 6 there, mind you, but that's alright. It wasn't about the kills so much as doing the damage and annoying the enemy. Here come the Winged Hussars, yet again, gonna charge through some gobos. They've taken a liking to this sort of thing, and I think we all have as well. Charging through 4 units, I think, of gobos. 1, 2, 3, 4. They didn't take nearly as much damage this time around, but probably because the nasty skulkers and the regular gobos are a little bit heartier than the goblin archers, but not to worry. We'll see how long they remain hardy with the winged hussars on the case, as they will begin their cycle charge operation, and will continue doing this for as long as the enemy army is attempting to make their way forward towards us. And there we go, stomp a few gobos, do a little bit of damage, and then back on out before the armor-piercing damage of the nasty skulkers can start dishing it out. Back away, and continue the cycle charge. Ooh, got stopped that time by the looks of it, but that's alright. Especially considering the nasty skulkers are wavering and down to half HP, and they'll be booking it on out of there shortly. The enemy army continues making its way towards us. Looks like a goblin big boss has captured our patriarch. But we should be able to kill that goblin big boss off fairly easily. At least now that we got 2 warbear riders, plus the patriarch to heal us, plus the snow leopard, all working together, though it looks like the mass of the spider means that everybody knocks it back, which actually worked in favor of the enemy, as it essentially forced us to get trapped by the enemy units. We're gonna have to book it on out of there. The patriarch will run first because he's badly damaged and he's very fragile compared to the warbear riding other units. We're gonna drop an ice sheet and then just try to get out. Got to use the mass of those bears. Might have to pop an explosion just to make sure that they don't get mobbed. Get the heck out of there. Alright, hopefully the Tzarina Katarin's ability will afford us enough knockback to run. A little bit of a panic moment for me here, as I wasn't intending to do this. I was really hoping to knock out that goblin big boss, but it does look like we're right at the edge of the enemy formation. Run, you idiots. If I was feeling really mean, I'd drop like a blizzard or something on this, but yeah, once again, I don't like to do that sort of thing. I'd rather back off and let the enemy get into a nice formation. Once we're out of the formation, though, we are free to drop a spell like a Frost Maiden's Kiss upon them. Winged Hussars are working in the back. Those nasty skulkers and Night Goblin Archers are done for, and it looks like we found some boar boys to kill off. So these guys are next on the menu, and by the looks of it, they're pretty much done for as well. Gonna break, we'll give chase until they shatter and then hit the next units. There's some big uns and other stuff here to work with. Out here, we've also got reinforcements arriving. 3 Kislevite warriors led by our Druzhina, our first Druzhina lord. I'm still not 100% sure what kind of army he's going to lead, but he's most definitely going to lead an army. We do have to have an Akshina ambusher army after all. But for now, it looks like we're holding decently well our main line. We've also summoned, now that we have Guardian Call, we've summoned 2 more Snow Leopards, and all 3 of them together are working on that Black Orc Big Boss. Lovely. Alright, how are we doing out here? We've got the, well, let's say biggest portion of the enemy, sort of cohesive portion of their army. Over on the left flank, trolls and a bunch of other units. And they should be able to break through these Kislevite warriors fairly quickly at this rate, and even the armored Kossars are starting to take quite a bit of damage. Golden Knight is working together with the Snow Leopards now to try to hit both the Black Orc Big Boss and the Goblin Big Boss out here, but it looks like the Goblin Big Boss is running away, just as Grimgor moves on in. Oh, look at those Snow Leopards working together with the Golden Knight. That's nice. They can hold back the basic units while the Golden Knight rips the Black Orc Big Boss apart, especially since we don't really care what happens to the summoned units as long as Tzarina's Fang is fine. Anyway, looks like the Big Boss, I've lost sight of the Big Boss. Okay. I guess the Big Boss ran away and I didn't even notice. Oh, that's fine. That works for us. Grimgor's still out here, and we still have to hold the line. Balance of power is at about 70% in our favor, and the Winged Hussars have peeled away from the enemy back line to make their way forward. Trolls are still working out here, though. And let's see if we can hold them back. Gonna have to send our Patriarch and our Frost Maiden in to reinforce the line, as both Kossars, armored Kossars and regular Kossars are having a little bit of a tough time against the trolls, and will have an even tougher time as Grimgor activates his Wa. Golden Knight starts fighting Grimgor out here as well, as it is time, and Grimgor is engaged with the Kossars here, and he'll be able to rip apart quite a few of them if we let him. There we go. Kind of weren't turned exactly in the right direction. And we're once again going to send those Snow Leopards to help out. Bite Grimgor's heels or slash Grimgor's heels over and over again. But we'll still need help here. The Golden Knight's down by about 25% of her HP so far. Grimgor's about the same way, but he's got 104 melee attack and 801 weapon strength, and I do believe he gets stronger as he's in melee as well, so. And this, of course, is with all of these guys attacking him at the same time. But on the bright side, once again, he can't use his ability because of that silence that we've got. Down to nearly half HP now. Lovely. And I believe this is the frozen effect that we're seeing on him that prevents him from moving. At the least this way he can't give chase to Tzarina Katarin. The rest of his army is in trouble very much now, and are starting to book it on out of there. Looks like we've also caught the giant river troll hag, who is wavering and attempting to run. Half HP on Grimgor and half HP on the Golden Knight, and we're going to send the rest of our units in, as the rest of Grimgor's army is no longer really a threat. Pretty darn long battle at, what, we got 8.5 minutes? But it should be just about ours. Grimgor's down to 10% of his HP, one parting Spirit Leech, or one more parting Spirit Leech from the giant river troll hag, and with that, Grimgor will shatter. And seeing Grimgor shatter, I do believe the rest of his army is done as well. If Grimgor's not willing to fight, I don't know if you can find another orc that would be. It would have to be a pretty insane orc. But anyway, there we go. Very nice. A very nice battle from Grimgor. He's given us 2 of these so far, and I expect at least a few more, as we'll be seeing him again probably a couple more times throughout this campaign. Alright, very nice indeed. Having been damaged ourselves certainly made the battle quite a bit more difficult, but once again we have our heroic units, our winged hussars, 638 kills, 62,000 damage. Tzarina's fanged it fairly well as well, at 16k and 223 kills, 306 on the Daughters of Saliak and 21,000 damage. Tzarina Katarin nearly breaking that 100,000 damage, and the Golden Knight was able to duel Grimgor for a fair bit of time. Of course, she was losing, but she's considerably lower level than Grimgor, and it's Grimgor, one of the best one-on-one fighters in the game. Anyway, settlement captured, and we will occupy it again, reoccupy it. And Iron Ice Armor, ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. Melee attack minus 10 and speed reduction. Yeah, I like that. You're not getting that though, dude. And, it's a set as well, which enables frostbite attacks if we can combine it with the other things. Interesting.
Tzarina Katarin.
Wait, frost maidens don't have frostbite attacks? Okay, that's a little shocking. Maybe it's because you're a Tempest Maiden, I'm not sure. But still, it's a very nice debuff, and I do notice that the Golden Knight doesn't have any kind of armor. We can put the Iron Ice armor, I think, on you for now. Although, wait, the White Cloak of Ulrich is another minus 10 melee attack. If we are to combine that on Vladimir, just because his army is kind of garbage right now, he'll lose the Helm of Discord, but he'll gain a constant minus 25 speed and minus 20 melee attack around him, which is pretty darn good. And it's pretty darn good if we can force enemies to blob up especially. And this army is going to need it because there's a lot of danger running around. You can then have the Helm of Discord instead. And the spell shields can go to Frost Maiden, so I'm not going to delete those. And I'll keep the Power Stone because it's additional recharge, so we won't do anything about that. Kislev Kossar, oh right, the Kislev Kossar can go to you because you've got probably a fair ways to travel. Yeah. Too bad the Nomad Riding Master doesn't do anything for war sleds, but anyway. Anyway, we are... Okay, wait. You're gonna go this way, towards the Desolation of Draken. I don't think there's anything there, and hopefully you can reach it with Tzarina Katarin still able to move next time. I take it... Oh, they built defenses. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, Blasted Expanse. So this time you're gonna go straight for the market square and wait. If we wait a turn, we'll be able to upgrade the town at the Silver Pinnacle. And then we can do the Stanitsa hereafter. And frankly, we'd want to move this guy after we do the Boca Palace upgrade anyway, so we can wait a turn to do that. And as Grimgor going to want peace now? He does want peace, so after we take back the Desolation of Drakenmore, hopefully we can peace out with him and deal with some of our other problems, our many enemy problems. Anyway, I'd like to end the turn, even though we're out of time, just to see what the heck is going to happen here with all this going on in Kastalton having a pretty garbage stack as well. I wonder... Do we declare war on these guys, the Legion of Chaos? Since we're not at war, we'd want to help them out. But if they attack us, it'll be a problem as well. But nonetheless, I think we do. Might as well make it a little bit more difficult while we're at it. Join war against the Legion of Chaos. And I'm sure Warhost of the Apocalypse is coming for us as well. I don't think so on the Military Alliance, but yes. Plus, once we take a few of these enemies out, we'll be able to peace out with them for money, so why not? I am a little bit tempted to invest in these guys, but we need the money for the Boca Palace, so and turn. And just out of curiosity, let's see what happens. Alright, so this guy's gonna go nearby, but he's not going to attack Kastalton directly. What's Azazel gonna do? Is he gonna besiege Prague? Well, he's not moving towards us with his main stack as yet, but that might change. Alright, so he's moving out here. Hopefully he's not going to try to bypass Prague. I imagine we won't be able to defeat Hivald Banehausser with this army because it's too weak. And they just have too many strong things. But we would be able to take or destroy the forces at Yechich, should we want to. Although we would probably take sufficient damage that we would have to be wary of this guy attacking us. I'm gonna have to think about that one, but it'll have to be something that we give thought to. Oh, it's not good. Kislev rebels attacking Erengrad. Let's hope that they fail in that. This is pretty interesting. I love all the enemies coming south. This is a very fun campaign. This is exactly the same kind of feeling we had in the early portion of the Boris Ursus campaign, which I was enjoying so much as well. These Kislev campaigns are really fun. Kislev might be my favorite faction to play so far just because of the relatively difficult nature of the campaigns and being surrounded on all sides and not being near the edges of the map where you can sort of just hold the edge and thus not have any problems because of it. But anyway, more Kislev to come, probably today, as I imagine we will reach the threshold, but who knows, so don't forget to drop those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.